Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. OhSheReads here, and welcome back to OhSheReads. I know it's been a while since you have seen my face, but I'm very happy to be back, and I will be putting up regular videos for the months of November, December, and January. So that's good news. I definitely want to catch you guys up on everything that's been going on in my life, but I will do that in a separate video. Today's video, I will be talking about some of the books that I'm looking forward to reading before 2018. So it is currently November 10th as I'm filming this video. I hope to get this up for you guys before Thanksgiving, but 2018 is swiftly approaching, and I still have some books that I'm like, I need to get to these before the new year. So without further ado, I will introduce them to you. This is just going to be a part one because most of these books, if not all, are young adult. And I will go ahead and show you the adult books and classics in a separate video that will be part two. So without further ado, let's begin. The first book I have to show you is actually a sequel. I read the first book, oh my gosh, years ago. I want to say it was 2014 or 15. This is the first book here, Roses by G.R. Mannering, who is one of my favorite booktubers here on YouTube. And she finally came out with a sequel. I think I hauled it in one of my previous videos. I still haven't gotten to it. But the sequel is Feathers. And Roses is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and Feathers, I believe, is a retelling of, is it The Swan Princess? I believe so. So I'm really looking forward to reading the sequel. I highly recommend this series. I don't know if Rose will be coming out with any other books in this series. I really need to catch up on her videos and her writing, but I highly recommend Roses. It was a beautiful read, and I cannot wait to dive into Feathers. Book number 2 is another book that I recently hauled on this channel, and this book is American Street by E.B. Zaboy. I'm really looking forward to this book. I believe this is about immigration. This tells the story of a young girl who's finally left Port-au-Prince, Haiti, but her mother is detained by U.S. immigration. So she enters the country, but her mother is unable to. So she now has to navigate America for the first time on her own, being a new immigrant without her support system. Her mother, I believe she's living with some cousins, and she's just trying to find her footing in this strange new culture with school and friends and all that good stuff that teenage girls go through, but definitely with the added pressures of having a different culture and coming into a whole new country with all these new expectations and societal pressures. So I'm really looking forward to this book. The third book I have to share with you guys is the newest Colleen Hoover release, and that is Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. And it's kind of a running joke on this channel that I collect Colleen Hoover books and don't actually read them. So December, that's right, you heard it here first. December will be Colleen Hoover month here on this channel. I will be reading all the books that I have, which I think is almost all of them. The irony is I could have read November 9 yesterday, as it was November 9th. Missed the boat on that one, but it's fine. It's fine. December 9th will be the new November 9th. I've heard that's a good book, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I don't even know what this is about. Another new adult. Not every mistake deserves a consequence. Sometimes the only thing it deserves is forgiveness. Interesting. So yeah, I will put all the links to these books down in this the description box. Is it still called that? The description box if you're interested in any of these. Next up, I have Maggie Stiefvater's latest release, All the Crooked Saints. I'm so excited for this. Maggie Stiefvater is one of my favorite writers, period. Not just young adult, but just her lyricism, she's so poetic. She can build worlds with her language. I aspire, okay, to her level of writing. I adore her. She's definitely one of my literary writing heroes. And this one is gonna be interesting because, you know, she wrapped up the Raven Boy series, which I have yet to read, I know, of all my raving of Maggie Stiefvater. I've read the first book in the Raven Boy series, but I need to keep going because now the series is complete, so I can marathon them. But this one is, let's see, here is a thing everyone wants, a miracle. Here is a thing everyone fears, what it takes to get one. Ooh, this looks very dark, very gothic. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yes. Oh my god. Maggie Stiefvater is a wildly imaginative master storyteller like nothing else you've ever read. That's the thing about Maggie Stiefvater. I know when I pick up one of her books, I'm going to be transported, completely wrapped up. I'm going to be immersed. I'm going to be flipping every page, so excited for the next. I cannot wait. I don't even need to read the synopsis. I don't want to bore you guys, and I don't want to make this video way longer than it needs to be, so I will definitely put the Goodreads page for this one down below. Check it out. Next up, I have a YA fantasy, An Enchantment of Ravens, and this one is by Margaret Rogerson. I have a feeling this is her debut novel, but I'm not 100% sure. I actually pre-ordered this purely on a whim. It caught my eye on Amazon when I was pre-ordering a whole bunch of other books. This one popped up as a recommendation, so I went ahead and just did it. I'm so glad I did because it's getting pretty good buzz. Now this one says every enchantment has a price. So we have Isabel, who creates stunning portraits for a dangerous set of clients, the fair folk. These immortal creatures cannot bake bread or put a pen to paper without crumbling to dust. They crave human craft with their terrible thirst, and they trade valuable enchantments for Isabel's paintings. But when she receives her first royal patron, Rook, the Autumn Prince, Isabel makes a deadly mistake. She paints mortal sorrow in his eyes, a weakness that could cost him his throne and even his life. Furious, Rook sprints Isabel away to his kingdom to stand trial for her crime, but something is seriously amiss in his world, and they are attacked from every side. With Isabel and Rook depending upon each other for survival, their alliance blossoms into trust, perhaps even love. A forbidden emotion that would violate the fair folks' ruthless laws, rendering both their lives forfeit. What force could Isabel's paintings conjure that is powerful enough to defy the ancient malice of the fairy courts? Isabel and Rook's journey along... I cannot talk. I'm so sorry if this reading sounds ridiculous. But anyway, Isabel and Rook journey along a knife edge in a lush world where beauty masks corruption and the cost of survival might be more frightening than death itself. So yeah, that was my rushed and slightly awkward reading of The Dust Jacket. Definitely check this book out. I cannot wait to see if it's living up to the little pleasant buzz that it's garnered. Next, I have another sequel. Last year around this time, I read a book that I really enjoyed called The 100th Queen by Emily R. King. I loved this book. It is a fantasy. It's not a young adult. It's actually an adult book. At least that's the way it reads to me. It doesn't read like a young adult novel to me. So, however, the characters in the novel are young. I don't think that they're... Honestly, I don't know if I would characterize this as... Yeah, I don't know. It reads like an adult novel, but I really enjoyed it, and it's basically about a young girl who basically finds herself thrust into a destiny she did not see coming whatsoever. She becomes the 100th queen of this king in this really brutal world, and she has to prove herself by fighting all of the other queens to win her ranking, or she herself will be killed. There's a great mythology in here that definitely mixes Egyptian mythology with Greek mythology with some Middle Eastern mythologies as well, and religions. So I think that Emily R. King did a really great job of creating this world that's really unique and fresh but still feels familiar to us. And the characters are great. Our main protagonist, female protagonist, is strong and curious, and we can definitely root for her and empathize for her and with her so easily. So I really enjoyed this read. So when the sequel came out about a month ago, I was super excited. I'd already pre-ordered it because I love the first book so much. So this is The Fire Queen. I've just started reading it. I'm about a couple chapters in, and the last book left off on a cliffhanger, so I'm really excited to continue on with this one. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not going to tell you the synopsis because I don't want to spoil the first book, but I definitely recommend these books. I like them a lot. I think these are independently published. I'm not 100% sure. Skyscape, I think, is the publishing house on the back of this. So, yes, Skyscapes, but I guess they're a smaller publishing house. Not 100% sure, but I definitely recommend these, and I think you guys should support this author and check these books out. Next up, I have Dear Martin by Nick Stone, and I'm really excited to dive into this one. This one definitely deals with the really hard topic of police brutality that has been going on forever but is now just being documented on film. So it's getting, garnering way more awareness from the public. This one has to do with a young man. His name is Justice. He's top of his class in this preparatory academy. He's captain of the debate team, and he's on his way, on the path to go to an Ivy League school in the next year. So it looks like he's a senior in high school. But none of that matters to the police officer who puts him in handcuffs. He's eventually released without charges or an apology, but the incident rattles him. Despite leaving his rough neighborhood, he can't seem to escape the scorn of his former peers or the attitude of his new classmates. The only exception, Sarah Jane, Justice's gorgeous and white debate partner he wishes he didn't have a thing for. Justice has studied the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but do they hold up now? He starts a journal to Dr. King to find out. Then Justice goes driving with his best friend Manny, windows rolled down, music turned up, way up. Much to the fury of the white off-duty cop beside them. Words fly, shots are fired, and Justice and Manny are caught in the crosshairs. In the media fallout, it's Justice who is under attack. So this definitely sounds like so many stories we have read on the news, y'all, and seen the videos of, and it just breaks my heart. And it definitely is something that I think is a timely read. If you are not African American or Black or of African descent in any way, I think that it would be even more important for you to read this book. There is nothing like reading a novel to put yourself in the shoes and behind the eyes and in the heart of someone else, to truly fully understand where someone else is coming from, and in this case where an entire group of people are coming from. And especially in America, you might be watching this and you're not American, you might live somewhere else, but this happens all over in so many different forms, and the seed of it is racism, and in all its insidiousness, and so I think that it's even more important for those of you who are not Black to read this book. And I highly recommend it, even though I haven't already read it. Just reading the synopsis, I'm just like, yes, this is gonna be good. It's blurbed by Angie Thomas. She just says a must read, and if y'all don't know, Angie Thomas wrote the wildly successful The Hate U Give, which was her debut novel, and now it's being made into a film. So I trust her judgment. I definitely recommend this to everybody. Next up here, I do have an adult novel, and it is a book that I try to read every fall and fail. And this is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I am determined to read this book this year. It takes place in World War II time, and I believe the protagonists, the two protagonists, and the story takes place in alternating points of view. We get to see through both of their eyes and experience both of their stories, and I believe they're happening in conjunction. We have Laurie, who lives with her father in Paris near the Museum of Natural History, where he works as the master of its thousands of locks. And when she's 6, she goes blind, so her father builds a perfect miniature neighborhood so she can memorize it by touch and navigate her way home. And when she's 12, the Nazis occupy Paris, and her father and her flee to a walled citadel of St. Malo, where her reclusive great-uncle lives in a tall house by the sea. So it's kind of become a refuge for them, and they carry what might be the museum's most valuable and dangerous jewel with them. So you have, in a mining town in Germany, the orphan Werner grows up with his younger sister, enchanted by a crude radio they find. And Werner becomes an expert at building and fixing these crucial new instruments, a talent that wins him a place at a brutal academy for Hitler Youth. Then a special assignment to track the resistance. More and more aware of the human cost of his intelligence, Werner travels through the heart of the war and finally into St. Malo, where his story and Marie-Laurie's converge. So I've heard nothing but amazing things. This is an award-winning novel. I mean, what have I been waiting on already? Jeez. We'll definitely get to it before January 2018, okay? Okay, you can hold me accountable to that. Next up, I have the latest installment in one of my favorite YA fantasy series of all time, the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. This is Tower of Dawn. So excited. Not going to go on too much about it because so many people have not read the series yet, and I don't understand it. like, speechless. Literally speechless. Next up, I have something I'm very excited to hold in my hands, and it is the latest release by one of my favorite YA authors who also wrote another one of my favorite fantasy series, sci-fi series, and young adult, the Lunar Chronicles. I'm so excited. Miss Marissa Maya wrote dun 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 dun. It's you guys. I'm so excited for this book. Bold, valiant, just. Do you have what it takes to be a hero? Yes, Marissa Meyer. Yes, I do. Well, I'm gonna live vicariously through these characters, let me tell you what. Secret identities, extraordinary powers, she wants revenge, he wants justice. I'm just gagging. This cover is life. I mean, by the cover alone, 5 stars. 5 stars. Hopefully. Please don't let me down, Marissa Meyer, don't let me down. I have Leigh Bardugo's latest, bum bum, Thorns, Midnight Tales, and Dangerous Magic. I think this is a collection of short stories. On the back it just says, Grishaverse, love speaks in flowers, truth requires thorns, a collection of 6 lavishly illustrated stories. So it says, travel to a world of dark bargains struck by moonlight, of haunted towns and hungry woods, of talking beasts and gingerbread golems, where a young mermaid's voice can summon deadly storms, and where a river might do a love-struck boy's bidding, but only for a terrible price. Inspired by myth, folklore, and fairy tale, #1 New York Times bestselling author Leigh Bardugo has crafted a deliciously atmospheric collection of short stories filled with betrayals, revenge, sacrifice, and love. I'm so excited. So ready. We're almost done. I have the latest by another one of my favorite YA authors who wrote another one of my favorite series in YA that is a companion series that I rave about all the time on this channel. Graceling is a fantastic novel followed by Fire, rounded up by Bitter Blue. Read the series, so good. Her latest, I'm so excited. Look at this cover, so holographic. Yes, darling. I am so excited. I'm so shocked that I have not read this book yet. It's really easy for me to pick up Kristen Kishore novels. It's just like coming home. I know what I'm going to get into in a way. I trust her. I'm familiar with her writing. She's comforting, but I'm also exciting. I'm also excited to get into it. So I'm surprised I haven't read this yet. So maybe I'll read this first. We shall see. But not least is kind of a brainer. I have been collecting the illustrated versions of this series as they have been released one by one. It is my favorite series of all time, so of course I'm collecting these, like duh. I actually wish I could collect this series in every edition that's ever existed. I think that I will make that my life's work. Yeah, that's a good goal. Yeah. Adding that to the list. Anyways, the latest is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I haven't even really flipped through this, which is also very shocking. I got it like right in time for Halloween, and I thought I was gonna get in the Halloween spirit and like read this on the 31st. That never happened. But I was doing NaNoWriMo prep, so I'm doing NaNoWriMo, by the way. It's going really well. You can definitely follow me on my NaNoWriMo page. I will link my link below, so if you want to go check out where I'm basically spending most of my November, you're welcome to. But yeah, the illustrations in this book, as always, are just flawless. I don't know if the lighting will even enable you guys to really see, but I'm just so excited that this is even a thing that is happening, and I cannot wait. I think I'm gonna wait until Goblet of Fire comes out, which will be the 4th one, and then I'm just gonna read all of them and then wait for the last 3, you know? We'll see what happens. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be my last minute scramble. It's almost 2018 to be read. If I can talk. TBR, to be read. You get the gist. I need to get these books in before 2018, but I feel like I've already jinxed myself by saying that. So if you are near some wood, knock on it for me. Keep your fingers crossed, say a prayer. I don't know, just pray for me that I get to all these books before next year. I'm going to hold some of them up. Okay, I'm not trying to drop these babies. Oh, I have novels, lucky number 13. Here's the first half. Here's the second half. There you have it. My fallish scrambling at the last minute before the new year TBR, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Hope everyone's been doing well and everyone's been having a great year so far, or if not, you know what, you're still alive. There's still 2 months left of the year. Next year will be better, hopefully. Alright, I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye. Bye. Seriously, ask yourself, this story idea that you have, are you sure it's a fictional novel? Are you sure it's not a play or a screenplay or a short story or a television pilot?